everyone. The financial crisis of 2008 is finally over. Today, our subject is AIG, American International Group, the central player in financial crisis. AIG is one of the most substantial insurances and financial service company. Its market value peaked at around $200 billion. But how can AIG become one of the enormous bailouts increases? Actually, in 2008, AIG suffered almost $99.3 billion losses for the 1 year, and its share price had a sharp decrease. The real crisis of AIG was in its financial investment business, and what contributed most is its bulk sale of CDS. Other institutions sold CDS while bought them, which would help control the losses by hedging when a default happened. However, AIG only did the one-side trades, only sold CDS. So, when housing bubble burst in 2008, there were heaps of defaults. Thus, AIG fell into liquidity crisis, and finally, it was bailed out by the federal government. After taking government bailouts in 2009, AIG announced a $165 million bonus payment to AIGFP, who caused the crisis. The bonus scandal sparked a heated debate in society. Taxpayers were outraged about the behaviors that put the profit before morality. Today, we are glad to invite our special guest to talk about AIG event. It's our honor to have you here, Dr. Wang. I just read your article on your own time. It seems you have some interesting news. So, would you like to share your opinions with us?
Yes, actually, after the AIG's crisis, our team has made a profound analysis. We found that the ineffective corporate governance are actually the main cause of its crisis.
So, you mean that AIG didn't comply with principles?
It may apply, but I'm sure it didn't apply it very well. Actually, let's take ASX corporate governance principles as an example. AIG has breached the Principle 7. It didn't do well with its risks.
I remember that one of your article mentioned that agency theory is related to this principle.
Yeah, exactly. Agency theory can explain the madness of AIG's management. Because of the separation of control and ownership, management horizon may differ from the owners. Managers tend to focus on short-term profitability rather than the owner's long-term interest. Indulge in the profits generated from CDS. Management of AIG was negligent in measuring risk of it. This risk will now finally crash AIG down.
So, according to this principle, what should AIG do to prevent crisis?
If time can turn back, I think AIG should form a competent risk committee to oversee the risk inside and outside of the entity. Besides, it's necessary to oversee AIG's insurance program, especially for its new business. What's more, AIG should establish effective internal auditing to evaluate and improve the risk management process to its risk appetite. I do think the ineffective board also contributed to AIG's crisis. Will the board be effective if its chairman is also the CEO? The answer is absolutely no.
So you mean Greenberg?
The board of AIG was totally manipulated by Greenberg. He controlled the authority of approval and execution, and he abused the power to purchase personal gain rather than the shareholders' interests. To prevent crisis, I think the key for AIG is to pay attention to the scale matrix of the board. The members of the AIG's board should obtain basic knowledge about the accounting and finance, especially for the CDS. By equipping with the necessary knowledge, the board is more likely to notice the irregularities of accounts, which will decrease the opportunities for the managers to conceal faults by using creative accounting.
Let's welcome our old friend, Dr. Man. Hi, Holly. Concerning this AIG event, are you ready to share some additional observations with our audience, your fans?
Absolutely. It's actually my pleasure to be here sharing my knowledge about finance and accounting. So I really hope my ideas could make sense. And today I'm going to talk about how AIG failed to safeguard the integrity of corporate reports. So before I start, I think corporate reports should be with the integrities. If the corporate reports lack of integrity, the users of the report could be misleaded or even make inappropriate decisions. And firstly, I think it is crucial for AIG to form an adequate audit committees, because audit committees help the board to improve the corporate governance. And second, I think an effective audit committee is the prerequisite of an effective audit system. As you know, in the AIG cases, one of the leading causes of the accounting scandal is the ineffective auditing. Managers may have opportunities to forge the account and cover their mistakes. The principles also give suggestions such as establishing a competent audit committees to oversee the auditing within and outside the companies, and disclosure the process of verifying the report's integrity sufficiently.
I heard you were in United States doing research, so could you help analyze the failure of AIG with American corporate governance?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, I'm going to highlight the importances of employees. We all know that the employees is the most of the population of a company, but the power of employees are basically overlooked or we didn't just recognize their usefulness, we can say like that. And according to the US corporate governance, there's no formal rules for the employees in the corporate governance in the public companies like AIG. They actually don't control the company. However, if they can participate in the corporate governance as shareholder by owning the share, they probably can do a better, they can really make a difference to the whole stories. So imagine if you are working in the companies and then you actually hold some shares of the company, then you gradually will care more of the office, of the surrounding everything. So you probably will help and give advices to those managers and make really smart and useful decisions. And do you know that for AIG, they even deliver and the loan to those homeless people who actually have no evidence to provide they can pay back the loan. So I feel if the employees could really give some advices, those things could be really different. So from my viewpoint, the American Insurance Group should provide more disclosure with regard to the company's shareholder engagement. The shareholder have obligations to know what actually going on, what actually happened in the company.
After two guests sharing their expertise, dear audience, do you now have a better understanding of AIG case? Don't hesitate to contact us if you have any feedback. Next week, we're gonna discuss the competition between Coles and Woolworths. So stay tuned and I'll see you next week. Bye!